Hello everybody and welcome to City Skylines. We're going to be doing sort of like a beginner style playthrough. It's probably going to be relatively short, but we're just going to get going, kind of get to the point where let's make a city that flows, has good traffic, and makes money, right? Because once you get to that point, it's going to be smooth sailing. So for people that maybe aren't familiar with City Skylines, this is a city builder in the style of SimCity. And I think most people would agree that for so many different reasons, this game has essentially taken over the SimCity legacy, especially considering the last SimCity game came out left us wanting. This playthrough is going to be completely modless and no DLCs installed. You just bought the game on the Steam sale. You loaded it up, you're staring at the menu here we are, and you have no DLCs, and we're just going to play it. And here's the thing, none of the DLCs are required. None of them are required. All the settings are pretty much on default right now. I've played around with the audio a little bit, but we're just going to get right into it. So let's go to a new game here. This is exactly what you're going to be seeing as you jump into it. So let's not look down there. So there is a huge modding community for this game. We're not using any mods this time, but I do have some maps that are downloaded from the Steam Workshop. Maybe we'll have to do like a very short little tutorial on how to get the mods, but it's super easy. Just through the Steam Workshop, and that's where I get all of my mods. So we could just, you know what, we don't even have to, we could just look through here and see what looks good. Pardon the soundtrack, for whatever reason there's this one track that just likes to blare up like that. But yeah, we're just kind of looking here. We could see different stats about these different maps. We could see the different allocation of natural resources, oil, ore, fertile ground, and forestry. And then we can also see, okay, these have outside connections. Again, just like SimCity, you know, our city is a city, but it's connected to other cities in sort of the beyond, right? We're not too worried about how those cities actually operate or anything, but we have connections with other cities. And it's saying, you know, it's giving us a suitable amount of building area based on the fact that there's probably a lot of water here. I don't know if I've played on this map. Blackwoods. This looks like this would be a boreal theme. Very nice. Very nice. A lot of water. Sometimes there's a benefit to that, creativity-wise. Let's go with Blackwoods. Let's just start this up, but you could pick any map you want, of course. We could go left-hand traffic if we feel like it, but, you know, that would throw me for a loop, I think. Load up the game here. So really, what we're doing in this game is we're building a city, and the cool thing about this game is it scales. So you can play it casually and just build a city, you know, a grid city that makes a bunch of money or has a huge pop, or you could build something creative or have a theme for your city, or you could install mods that make the game a bit more of a simulation game. There's people that play this game at a very high simulation level using mods. So right now time is going, but we haven't built anything, so there's no problem. We're not losing money. We don't have a city. We have no expenses as it is. That was just a little thing telling us hello. We don't need to look at that. I'll tell you what you need to know. So this is the area that we are given to build. For now. One of the things is, as we go through the game here, we will be unlocking more area to build. But right now, this is what we're dealing with. And we can idle like this forever. We have no expenses, we have no population. Everything's just chilling, we're just hanging out, we're going at speed 1. Time is ticking. Unlike SimCity, the year date doesn't mean anything, right? Like in SimCity, the year date, you unlock different technologies over time. In this, no. Everything's unlocked via population milestones instead, not dates. So one of the things that's really cool is when you first start playing the game, it's going to ease you into it. Literally, the only thing we can build down here are roads. So you can click on this to bring up the different roads. In fact, there's only one kind of road that we're even allowed to build. So it's very much already kind of like easing us into this here. This is the only access point to the outside world. So we can see that, hey, we can kind of look over there and be like, hey, there's a bunch of little Sims, a bunch of little trucks, you know, making deliveries. We can click on these. It's a forestry truck delivering to Lakewood. Of course, we're black. I guess our city is named Rockfield, but we're playing on the Blackwoods map. But these are going to other cities. Just going about their day, just delivering goods and such, right? Delivering goods to Lake Valley. Very nice. Very nice. So just sort of looking at the UI here, up in the top right, what do we got here? Okay, that's the main menu. Not a big deal here. Don't need to play around with this unless we want to save the game. Top left, we got the info views. And all these are grayed out because we haven't unlocked anything yet. There's no context to any of this, so it's not going to let us look at any of that. But that's how we're going to see the different map modes, right? That's how we're going to see our city at a glance. If we go down here, though, we're going to see we got areas. Let's click on that. So this is showing, okay, this is our area. This is the tile that we own. But we will, again, like I said, eventually be able to grow out from here quite a bit as well. So that'll be exciting. But this is going to be a lot of space to start. But this is definitely not the end of our city. We got the time. We can increase the time just like in traditional SimCity fashion here up to speed 3, which is very fast. I like playing in speed 1. I like just chilling out and playing in speed 1. We might go to speed 3 just because, you know, if we're kind of really twiddling our thumbs and have nothing to do, we could go up to speed 3. But I like kind of just chilling out, messing around in speed 1. Here's the chirper. You'll never see me click on this. I hate that bird. I hate that bird. Yeah, most of this is grayed out at this point. We do have little city information here. Of course, we have no relevant information because we don't really have a city yet. We can see that just to kind of get some information about our city, citizens, and jobs that are available and such. This, I guess, can give us... This is like our advisor. Of course, SimCity has a bunch of advisors. I never click on this. We don't need to worry about that. Let's go. The only thing we can build is roads. So we have some nice little tools down here that will help us with the roads. This is the snapping here. Whoops. This is sort of all the different snapping, sort of the brain behind the snapping. See how it's sort of, it's wanting to snap to these different places. That's because of this. If we turn that off, now there's no snapping. So, but it's kind of nice to have the snapping on. So one of the classic design starts for a lot of players is this is our connection to the freeway, right? We can only build one type of road. What if we actually just built out, like maybe we did like a triangular shape, just something different. And we could say this is 4 units. And you know, we could try to be precise with the angling. Maybe we want to do like at a 150-degree angle. 4 units out, 150-degree angle. We could do another 150-degree angle over here. This doesn't have to be perfect. And you could do whatever you want. You could just do sort of like a main street that comes down. A lot of people do that. We could do something like this. There we go. We got a little triangle. So people that come into our city now will come in this way. They'll go around and they'll eventually loop out and leave the city that way. So if a delivery truck comes by, then they'll be able to make their deliveries and then leave the city. Because the delivery trucks do have to actually leave. They don't just disappear when they make their delivery. The truck still exists and it has to return to its owner. So what we do, but here's the thing though. What kind of, if this is the center of our area here, and we're going to have a lot of delivery trucks coming into town, delivering to our commercial sites. I don't know if we want to just plop down residential here. We might want to actually kind of have the neighborhood more nestled away to the side and have this be our commercial base. So let's get some roads over here. We don't want to overbuild roads. Roads are actually relatively expensive. In fact, we could actually do some things here. We could maybe even come in like that. We have sort of like, now it's almost kind of like an arrowhead or something, but it's kind of an interesting design that we have going on. And again, we're just using the snapping to make sure this is all nice and even. So what we're doing, these roads are allowing us, they're creating zonable areas. If you're not familiar with SimCity, this is where we're actually going to be plopping down the zoning. So we don't actually specifically build houses. We put down zoning in the Sims. The Sims build houses. Let's just get some rows set up here. The only thing sad about this is it's not quite exact. That's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the world. One of the things that I like to do, just as a little tip, is I like to make sure that the intersections, I try to avoid 4-way intersections. Because the AI, we'll see that the AI has a really hard time, traffic has a hard time through the 4-way intersections, but this 3-way intersection will be pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. We've got enough roads down. In fact, actually, it is saying that we can build one-way roads. Okay, let's do that, actually. It'd be really nice if this was a one-way loop. There's no reason to have... Like, if we look here, there's literally no reason to have traffic driving on the right side of this road. This is a two-way street. There's no reason to have that because this is just funneling into the freeway, right? Literally, we're not benefiting from that at all. So let's actually... And we can use the upgrade road tool. So if we switch to the upgrade road tool, we can actually build over an existing road. So what we're doing right now is we are literally just making this a one-way loop. And this is going to help immensely with traffic. Okay, it looks like the game didn't know which way we wanted the one-way road, so we go here and we hit right-click to flip it the other way. It doesn't cost us anything. It's flipping the road the other way. Very nice. So now we have a loop. They come in here, they deliver their goods, they keep going, and they just keep... It's a constant flow, right? It helps with traffic just to have a constant flow of traffic all moving in the same direction. One-way roads are absolutely your friend in this game. Absolutely. So now we're looking at the zoning. Here's the roads. Now we're looking at the zoning. We've placed roads. Therefore, we have available zoning areas. And it's saying, okay, we have one of the most important things on the screen right now is these 3 bars here. It's hard to tell that there's 3 bars here because 2 of them are completely empty. There's no demand for industry or offices, and there's no demand for commercial. So here we have residential, which there's a very high demand for residential right now. So we have residential, commercial, and industry. The 3 pillars of really any city and any economy, right? So I personally, there's different tools here for placing zoning. You can either just do the fill, like the bucket paint style. You can do sort of drag like this. Let's pause the game using spacebar to pause. Sort of we can, we can lay down there, and then that's with holding left click. But if we want to do right click, we can get rid of it. There we go, it's gone. Now, I personally like the brushes. I think it's relaxing, it's therapeutic. I like using the brushes, so I'm not gonna use fill or the marquee. I'm gonna go straight to the brushes. And small is literally like if we wanted to do individual. But I'm just gonna go to the big brush, and I just kind of like filling it in this way. So let's fill in this area here as a residential zone. You know what? Let's give it some more residential. Why not? Okay, so now that we've placed residential zone, we've actually unlocked power, electricity needs. So these houses are going to need electricity and water. Let's pause the game while we set that up. Okay. So we have a couple options here right now, but until we unlock more stuff. We have the wind turbines and the coal power plants. Wind turbines seem like we're already in a good spot here. This is showing estimated wind patterns. Of course, there's strong winds over the water, but we can't build this kind of wind turbine over the water. There's a different kind of wind turbine for that. But it is showing it's very dark here. We can actually get 8 megawatts of power estimated because there is dynamic weather in the game. So the weather, the winds will change, but we can put this down here. And the nice thing about the wind turbine is it's very cheap compared to the coal power plant. The coal power plant, though, is more consolidated for how much power it puts out. So there is a purpose for using the coal power plant. But I think in this case, a classic starting point is just to go wind turbine. That's just sort of a classic starting point. We're going to then... Now, this wind turbine is showing an area here in blue. This is the entire area that's being covered by this wind turbine. So the power line just needs to start in this blue and then go to basically where we're going to have the residential area, right? There we go. So once the houses start coming in here, this will be delivering power to these houses. Let's also get water. Water, there's 2 components to water, though. There's water and there's sewage. So it looks like the water, it tells us where the water's flowing, actually. The water is actually flowing to the north. Okay, water's flowing to the north, so that's going to make the sewage thing a little bit kind of annoying, because if we did sewage, right, we don't want the sewage over here where it's just going to pollute the entire coastline. We kind of need to build the sewage over here. This, of course, I have the water selected. The water pumping station selected. We could also do a water tower. Actually, you know what? Let's go in with a water tower to start, because it's much cheaper. I believe we could double check this. No, I lied. It's not. The water pumping station is cheaper, and it has more yield. It produces more water. It pumps 120,000 cubic meters of water, where this only pumps 60,000. So it's cheaper and it's more effective. Let's just go on with that. The water tower would be used if we didn't have access to fresh water. That's when you would use the water towers. But we have plenty of fresh water here. Let's do that. We're going to have to create piping. In this case, again, we're casting sort of a blue shadow here in this map mode of the areas that are going to be getting water. And you could make this as aesthetic as you want. I don't worry about this map mode and making it look pretty, because the reality is you're never going to look at this map mode. You're never going to, look at your city in that map mode just for aesthetic reasons. The pipes are underground. No one will ever know if they're not perfect. And now that's getting power from, we don't even have to create a power line here because it's within the zone of influence, right? It's within this zone here. So it's already going to get power automatically, but there is going to be something that won't get power. And that's going to be our sewage. So let's actually get a power line way over here to this area. Because let's sneak our sewage. Let's hide our sewage way over here. So all the polluted sort of poop water is going to go this way, right? Oh, we need to make the power line a little bit longer. Because again, it needs to be within this influence. It won't reach the pumping station unless the power line literally touches down into the blue there. Okay, so that's looking good. But it's telling us now, okay, it's not actually hooked up to the pipes. So just like water, sewage needs to be hooked up to the pipe system. But what's really, really nice is it doesn't need to be a separate pipe system. As you can see here, it's sort of, it shows two pipes. There's thematically, this one pipe that we're making is actually carrying both the sewage and the water, the clean water. So no cross-contamination risk or anything like that. So we need to unpause the game here and let the houses build. Everything's looking good right now. Here they come. Here they come here. It looks like we actually just got an achievement too. Green energy. If I don't have the Steam overlays set up. And I usually play with mods, which is why I haven't actually earned any achievements. If you're wondering why I haven't earned that achievement for using a wind turbine before. So the houses are building. Again, we're not building these. All we did was we just said, hey, we're allocating as in chart, as the city planners, we're allocating these areas to residential zoning. That's all we've done. We've allocated these areas, and the different construction businesses and the Sims themselves will come and build homes here. And it looks like people are actually moving. Well, we're getting a little thing to say they're moving in. We'll probably actually start to get vehicles coming in here too. But look at this. There's still a very, very high demand for residential. So we actually need more residential. This isn't enough. Let's keep going here. It's weird because it's like, okay, well, what could we do that would be maybe a little bit different? Ooh, okay. We could do some different designs here. It's still grid, but it's kind of like, it's not, even grid, right? Uh-oh. Okay, so this road, I think I overshot this road a bit, so we can just come in with the bulldozer and get a little bit of a refund there. You destroy something within a certain amount of time, you'll actually get a refund. And this here, I want to build this road like this, but it is telling me it's going to destroy the power lines. That's okay. That's going to happen all the time. But I do want to make sure that we come in and reconnect that. Oh, here's something. We go to this map mode. We realize we don't actually need these power lines are redundant. So what's going on is because there's development in this area, again, all of these put out, once they have power, they put out a zone of power as well. As we can see, there's actually already a natural connection here between these buildings that are coming in and the power, the wind turbine itself. No problem at all there. I don't know. Again, we're trying to think, what could we do that would maybe be a bit more creative here? Oh, we're a little, something's uneven here, as you can see. That's saying that's one sort of unit, right? But it wants to snap to there, so something's not even, that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then, you know, we could come up like this or something. We could do some nice diagonal stuff. I don't know, we're just sort of making some interesting little shapes here. Maybe that's closed off like that. There we go. We got plenty of area. Let's make sure they all have water, though. Our new zoned areas. And we'll come in with some more. We need a lot of residential. Oh, it looks like this is somewhere in here is where we got. This is too long. This segment is too long, but that's okay. We have water over here? Yep, we do. In this case, we're just going to kind of fill a lot of this in because we have so much demand for residential. I'm always looking down here at these bars. This is my guide. This is my guide, so let's unpause the game. Let's make sure the power is still holding here. This connection is still holding. Good. Now we're actually starting to get a little bit of a demand for industry, which is the orange, and the commercial. So we could come in with a little bit of commercial here. Oh, you know what I realized? Here's something really interesting. If someone gets on this road and they get to this section, they're forced to go out of the city. Well, maybe they don't want to go out of the city. Maybe someone visits a shop over here and they just want to go home. How do they get home? So we do need to make this connection here. So what that's going to do is that's going to allow someone to make the full loop. That's going to allow them to come back into the city if they don't need to leave. So now that we've done that, we're actually going to be able to come in and paint the commercial here. Let's just do that section for now. You don't need a lot of commercial at the start, and it creates a lot of traffic too. Although at this point, you know, we have a population of 200 people down here. We're losing a little bit of money, but we have a lot in the bank, so we should be okay. The cool thing is, actually, look at this. This is some fertile ground. The question is, will we be able to actually build farms on it yet? Let's kind of build an industry area that's maybe a little bit off the beaten path. I wonder why these aren't like linking up correctly. We are going to need water out here, and power. And power. And we do pay a price for these power lines and pipes, right? So there is some incentive to do it efficiently. I'm just not too terribly worried about it myself. Oh, lots of industrial demand. Okay, so since we built commercial, we now have demand for industry, right? Because the industry is what creates the goods that get sold at the commercial. And also, the industry is where a lot of these people are going to work. We have plenty of residential demand, or sorry, we don't have any residential demand, which is why the zoning here, this actually isn't getting zoned. We could come in, we could leave it like that, or we could just de-zone it to kind of tidy that up a bit. So we have areas of residential that are not being built on because there's so little residential demand. We built enough. We sort of hit that magic number of homes based on the size of our city here. So things are coming along nicely. We haven't been able to turn a profit yet, though. But we're just getting our industry up and going. So I'm hopeful that this is going to be what allows us to turn a profit. We need more industry. And always looking at these bars down here to tell us what's going on. Another thing we can do actually to try to turn a profit is, so this is the budget screen. And here we can micromanage water and power, because the truth is we might be producing too much power and too much water compared to what we actually need. But to know that for sure, we need to go to the info, the demographic map modes, basically. And let's look at power. Okay, so yeah, we're producing a lot of electricity, although we can see that we have tons of electricity available. But the truth is, this industry is going to require a lot of electricity, so let's actually hold off on doing anything with that. But if we go to water, though, we're consuming 5,000 cubic meters a week but we produce 120,000. That is actually insane. That is actually insane. We do not need to be paying so much for our water. And look at how much we're paying just for our water. We could definitely lower this. In fact, we could lower it all the way down to 50%. Now, the thing about lowering it to 50%, though, let's keep this in mind. That doesn't lower our... That actually cuts our water production by 75%. Okay, so there's an exponential factor there. The more you lower it, the more it affects our ability to produce it. Same with, and it's opposite if we were to increase it to 150%, we'd only get 25% bonus from that. So in this case, though, we still have a huge... Uh-oh, something's happening. Sewage is backed up. Something's wrong here, so now we have to troubleshoot what's going on here. Sewage production is 6,000, sewage draining is 30,000. Did we not connect this properly? Or look, no, it's connected. Why is it like... Why is this not working? I don't know what just happened there, everybody. I don't know what just happened, but it seems to be fine now. No one's complaining about sewage anymore. But I do not know what just happened there. Because everything was hooked up. We didn't actually do anything. Okay, we are officially turning a profit, guys. So with this basic city here, we have a little bit of zoning demand for residential, but we technically have areas that people can build their homes already. We're not too, you know, to race out and do that. We have a little bit of industrial, but we have areas that they can continue to build industry. We have areas that are unbuilt within the zoning for commercial as well. So this is our city so far. Kind of some interesting road designs, nothing, you know, super crazy, but it's kind of cool looking. We could definitely create a more efficient traffic system for the industry because there's going to be a lot of trucks coming in through here. But thank you so much for watching the first episode of this sort of like run through for complete beginners. But at this point, we are making a profit. And that's all we need. We are probably never going to lose money ever again. We're just going to continue to profit. And a lot of that was because we did this adjustment for the water, right? That adjustment is literally our profit margin right now. Because if we go back up to 600 simoleons a week, we'd basically be at zero, but the number is growing. The amount of profit we're making is growing as people move into the city. We're getting 40 people per week, which is great. We're about to actually unlock a milestone. But let's actually save that for the next episode, and we'll talk all about that in a bit. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.